Hi friends, this is Amy Rich with amyrich.net. I am excited to be here on Catalog Kickoff Day. It is the day that we have all been waiting for. And we can finally order from the SD23 mini catalog, as I lovingly refer to the September to December 2023 mini. And I am going to use a suite that I fell in love with immediately, which is the All About Autumn suite. Now, unfortunately, at the filming of this video, the designer series paper is a little bit delayed. So the entire suite cannot be ordered on September 6th, the kickoff day, but you can look forward to that being available very, very soon. And if you like what you see in the collection, you can order with just one order number here at 162193, and you get everything you see on this page. So we're going to talk a lot about the bundle, the speckled dots, the ribbons, I'll just show you here the embossing folder. It's really pretty. We'll talk about this designer series paper. It's an oxidized paper that is really pretty. It comes in like a pecan pie and a pretty peacock. So you'll be able to see those. And then, of course, the DSP is, I would say, the star of this show for sure. And that is indicated by the fact that it sold out so quickly just when demonstrators could order it. So we are going to start with a piece of thick, very vanilla cardstock. It measures 8 by 5.5. And we're going to do some fancy cutting. So this was a fun fold by Barb Feff, and Rachel Tessman made a card with it and calls it the Center of Attention card, which I really liked. I really liked the name of that. So I am going to turn it so that it is what we would call landscape. And I am going to score it at 2 inches, and then I'm going to flip and score it at 2 inches again. Now, another way you could do that is 2 inches and then put it down to 6 inches. It would be the same thing. So we've got those 2 fold lines ready to go. And then I'm going to turn it portrait, and I'm going to put it in at 1 1/4 inches. And I like to use the right side of my trimmer simply because I'm right-handed, and then I can hold on with my left hand and cut with my right hand. Then I'm going to lift up that ruler and move the blade until the line on the side of the blade comes down on that score line. So 1 1/4 inches from this edge, and then I'm going to go score line to score line. And then I'm going to turn it and do the same thing on the other side. So then we're going to put that blade down at the score line and cut score line to score line again. And then we're just going to do a little bit more scoring. So I'm going to put it in at 3 inches. And we are simply going to score between those cut lines. So again, lift up that ruler, put the scoring blade down, and score from cut line to cut line. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So put it in at 3 inches, and then put the scoring blade down from cut line to cut line. And then I'm going to put it in at 4 inches, which is in half. And I am going to go from the cut line to the end. And then I'm going to loosen up the grip and put it at the next cut line and go up to the top, so that what you have are all of these funky lines here that we're going to use for our card. Now, before we do any folding, we're going to do some stamping on here. What a beautiful stamp set in Autumn Leaves. We have dies that coordinate, but this is just gorgeous. It does some shading. Depending on what kind of pressure you use, you'll get different types of shading inside the leaf. But I'm going to bring in a piece of grid paper so that I can go off the edges if I need to with my stamping. And I'm going to start with my pretty peacock ink. And we've got 2 leaves that are connected together here, and I'm going to stamp those, get them Make sure they're nicely inked. And I'm going to stamp those one over here. And you can see that little bit of shading in the stamp. It's so pretty. And then I'm going to go down in this corner and do a little bit over here as well. And just hold, you know, keep the pressure on that until you know that it's got the amount of ink and location that you want, and then just let that ink soak into the paper. We're going to do something similar to the other side. And I do have ink in weird places, so just be careful. I got it on my finger. Thankfully, this spot is going to be covered, so I'm not going to worry about that. But do be careful. And then we're going to do the same type of thing, kind of a symmetrical stamp, but as the other side, but it doesn't have to be exactly. All right, so here we've got our leaves, and then we're going to take a piece of very vanilla cardstock that measures, oh gosh, I can't remember now, so let me check. 1 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then I've got the oak leaf here that we're going to use the same way. So we're going to stamp our oak leaf at a bit of an angle in Pretty Peacock ink, letting that ink soak into the paper so it gets that nice shading in there. And then we're going to grab our Early Espresso ink. So we're going to use Pretty Peacock and Early Espresso, which you may think is kind of odd, but I think you're going to like what we come up with. So now in the stamp set, you can see there are vein stamps. So I'm going to take the vein and I am just going to line that up and stamp it right over the top. And that gives it just that little bit of darker detail in the veins. And I'm going to do the same thing with these leaves over here. This one is a double vein because it's got double leaves. So you can see through the photopolymer stamp so that you're able to line these up pretty easily. It's a little bit harder sometimes when I'm on camera, but it really takes the guesswork out. Okay, and then one more down here. Just be careful to get it relatively lined up, and we're ready to go. While I have this ink pad out, I'm also going to take the For All You Do sentiment, teeny tiny, and I'm just going to get it right down here in that corner in Early Espresso ink. And then I'm also going to take I'm Thankful. So the front of the card will say For All You Do, and then the back of the card, I'm going to flip that over and it should fit right in the center. I'm Thankful. Look at how perfectly that fits in there. So then you can sign the card on the back because there's plenty of light colored cardstock there for you to write on. Okay, let's get the folds put into place in the direction they need to go. All right, we're gonna start with these ends. Those are gonna get folded in. And because I'm using thick, very vanilla cardstock, I'm really gonna give it a good crease because we want that to be able to fold nicely. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. And now when we come into the center, everything's gonna be mountain folds. So far we have 2 valley folds. Now everything else is gonna be mountain folds, but remember they're a little bit different. These are in a different placement than the other 2. So let's start by kind of bending these center ones up, folding this one over, go ahead and give that a crease. And now there's just one more. We're gonna fold it the same way. All right, so what we've got here is the center of attention because the center is pulled out. Thanks, Rachel Tessman, for that amazing name. And then I'm going to adhere the focal point. And you could argue that that's not necessarily the focal point because there's so much going on here, but we're gonna grab this one and adhere that to a piece of Early Espresso that is 1 7/8 by 2 7/8. And then, oh my goodness, have you seen this beautiful ribbon? It comes in that All About Autumn suite with this gorgeous natural ribbon. So it comes in a pair like this. I've been using a lot of the copper though, it's so pretty. And then I'm gonna wrap that around this piece and simply tie it in a knot. It knots really well. And then I'm just gonna slide this down so that it's at the bottom of the leaf, with the stem peeking out the bottom there. And then I'm just going to, my paper snips are MIA right now. I have several pair and I don't know where they all are, but we're gonna cut these relatively short and get them cleaned up. Now this piece is ready to be the center of attention. So we're going to add our adhesive. And add that. It's got a nice teeny little vanilla border all the way around. Okay, it's looking cool right now, but let's add a piece of this amazing designer series paper. This side all has some shine on it. And this is several packs put together, by the way, so you don't get this much. But you can see all of the beautiful fall papers, all of the beautiful textures, old books, sweater. I love leather, love all of those. That's why it's sold out already right now. But I took a piece of the sweater, and the back side is just gorgeous with the pretty peacock and the copper foil. And I cut 8 pieces that measure 1 7/8 by 1 1/8, and those are going to be layered neatly across the top and bottom of the card to create a really pretty border. Isn't that gorgeous? It really, really jazzes things up, but we're gonna do some more. Let's next bring in our dies. Now I have a couple of them missing because I've been cutting all over the house. My husband's been sick, so I was cutting upstairs and we were watching movies and whatever. But I took these 2 leaves right here and I cut them out of early espresso. So we're gonna add a couple early espresso leaves. But I also cut them out of the oxidized paper, the pecan pie color with the foil. And let me bring those 2 pieces in. So we've got the pretty peacock, so you can see the pretty peacock in the background there, and then the foil. And then here's that beautiful pecan pie one that I used to cut out these leaves. So these, again, these papers are in the same suite, and they're just beautiful. I'm going through them like crazy because I'm in love. And I am going to add these just with a little bit of liquid glue so as not to be so putsy trying to get that Stampin' Seal on there. But we're just going to add these, and I'm going to be careful not to go over a fold line. And then we're going to do the same thing with these, the oxidized paper ones. All right, so we're going to add these in here. And then to jazz it up even more, we're going to bring in our adhesive back speckled dots. Love these. They come in like the pecan pie color, crumb cake, Moody Mauve, and Old Olive, and they have a little sparkle in them. They're speckled, but the speckle is a little sparkly. So I'm just going to grab the pecan pie, and we'll add a pop of color with a little bit of Old Olive, and we're just going to add a few over here, and then we're going to do the same on the other side, and we've got ourselves a really cool card. Now, you might say, how do we get that in an envelope? Well, there are a couple ways that you can do it. You can squish this together and then fold the sides down. That is the way that I put them into my clear envelopes for my swap. But you can also fold the two sides up and decorate this side. So I'm just going to grab a couple pieces of the oxidized paper in the Pretty Peacock, and I'm going to add those here. Now, one other thing that you can do is you can add a label or something with another sentiment on it. But since I chose to fold mine the other way to put it into those envelopes, I didn't bother adding any more labels. But it would look really cool if you wanted to put it in the envelope like this and have it pop out and open like this. And then when you flip it over to the back side, it's still pretty, which I love. So it is fun to be able to create a fun fold card with new products, and I hope you enjoyed seeing the new products, learning about the All About Autumn suite. Thank you for watching. I cannot wait to share another project with you. And don't forget, my 12 projects of Christmas 2023 is coming in just a month and a half. So I look forward to seeing you for that near the end of October. Don't forget to click subscribe so that you don't miss a single video.